The next time a woman lets you hold her, pay attention to the exact microsecond she pulls away, because what you do in the next 60 seconds will either plant you so deep in her mind that she will be replaying that moment at 2 in the morning, or it will cement your place as a nice but utterly forgettable memory. Think about that for a moment. You just had this incredible, physically close interaction, and yet the fate of your entire dynamic isn't decided by the hug itself. It's decided by the eerie silence that follows it. Most men, nearly every single one of them, absolutely panic in this silence. They feel this primal urge to scream something into the void to stop it from being awkward. They make a weird joke about her smell, or they immediately look at their phone to check a sports score, or worse, they try to force a second embrace like some needy puppy. And just like that, the oxytocin spell, that beautiful, potent chemical bonding agent her brain just released, it evaporates, it disappears, and her brain mentally files you under, nice guy, but no friction. Today, I am going to make sure that never happens to you again. As a woman who understands the invisible matrix of female evaluation, I'm not going to give you theory. I am going to give you the exact sequential playbook that is grounded in behavioral science and female neurobiology to make sure that silence doesn't kill the moment, but multiplies the attraction until you are the only person she wants to talk to for the rest of the week. This is where you become legendary. Let's get painfully real about what a hug is from a woman's perspective, because it is not just a polite way to say hello. Physical contact for a woman is never random, and it is rarely casual, even if we play it off like it is. It is a fundamental biological risk. Every time we voluntarily close that space and press our bodies against yours, our lizard brain, the most ancient part of our mind, is running a series of complex calculations. It is asking, am I safe? Do I feel comfort? Is there dynamic tension? Oxford University actually discovered that brief physical touch between humans is potent enough to trigger an entire cocktail of bonding hormones. When she embraces you, her body is initiating a biochemical bookmark around that specific memory of you. She is saying, in effect, I am willing to let you into my fortress. And this is not a small thing. Think about the energy women carry through the world. We are fiercely defensive of our personal boundaries. We know which stranger is standing too close in the elevator. We guard our proximity with intensity. So when she lets you in, it's a profound signal. It's a massive green light that most men completely misread as just friendly. It's an invitation to take the dynamic to the next level. And the tragedy of dating is that this is the precise moment when the man drops the ball. The hug ends, and he is so terrified of messing up what just happened that he does nothing, or he does everything all at once and suffocates the mystery. You cannot afford to rush the silence that follows. This is the single biggest, most devastating mistake 90% of men make immediately after they break the embrace. They scramble to fill the gap with noise. They blurt out phrases like, wow, so what are your plans for the weekend? Or, that was good. Come here. Let's do another one. No. Stop. On behalf of women everywhere, I am begging you to stop doing this. When you fill every single millisecond with useless chatter, you are not showing confidence. You are showing that you cannot handle the intensity of the connection. You are telling her brain that there is nothing mysterious, nothing challenging, and nothing compelling here to keep investigating. Biological anthropologists who spend their lives decoding attachment patterns will tell you that romantic tension, that undeniable magnetic force that keeps you thinking about someone, thrives only in uncertainty and in the gaps. When you remove the gaps, you remove the tension. Her brain listens. It concludes, okay, nothing here. I'm going to go think about what I want to have for dinner instead. You just became a resolved task in her mind. The silence after a hug is not your enemy. It is not something to be feared. It is your greatest weapon. That 2 to 5 second pause where neither of you says anything, where your body language still lingers and your eyes hold hers, that is where attraction multiplies exponentially. That is where her mind starts writing narratives about you. Psychology labels this the ambiguity effect. Human brains are hardwired to resolve gaps. When we encounter an incomplete picture, we become obsessed with filling in the missing pieces. By simply not talking, you become a puzzle her subconscious feels compelled to solve. The first, most crucial rule is deceptively simple. Don't rush. After you pull back, hold her gaze for just 2 seconds longer than is comfortable. Do not grin or smirk. Just maintain calm, warm eye contact, a genuine acknowledgement that you both felt that. Then, and only then, do you proceed to speak, but what you say must be precise. This is the exact sequence that aligns with how the female mind processes emotional significance, and it is where you begin to build a legacy in her memory. I call it the 60-second formula, and step 1 is the specialized micro-compliment. After that brief, potent eye contact, say something specific. Not general, not "you look nice." A general compliment makes us think you're performing flattery. Say something rooted in observation and genuine surprise, like, "You always smell incredible. What is that?" Or, "Your energy right now is just different. Did something happen today?" Or even a simple, low-key, "That was actually a really good hug." This works because it is rooted in neuroscience. Research on generalized versus specific praise shows that personalized compliments, comments that show genuine observation, trigger a secondary release of bonding hormones on top of the chemical impact already caused by the hug. You are quite literally doubling the physiological impact of the moment. She won't just feel warm, she will feel seen. And in dating, feeling seen is the single most valuable asset a man can create, ranking above almost every other metric women use to evaluate romantic potential. But this compliment must sound effortless. If it feels rehearsed, if it feels smooth or performative, her finely tuned radar for validation-seeking flattery will go up instantly, and the trust is broken. It should sound like a simple, authentic thought that just occurred to you. Step 2 is the callback anchor. This is the move that separates you from 99% of every other man she has interacted with. Within the next 20 seconds of the interaction, you need to reference something from a past conversation you two have had. It doesn't have to be some profound life revelation. It can be as simple as, "Wait, you were talking about how much you wanted that specific type of coffee. Did you ever end up finding that place?" Or, "Hold on, last time you mentioned you were starting that new project. How did that first week go? Why does this matter?" Because it signals two major attractors that women find incredibly compelling. It signals that you are actually a confident man, and more importantly, it signals that you were listening. Not just hearing words while you waited for your turn to talk, not just nodding your head, but actively retaining information because you genuinely cared about what she was saying. Research from relationship psychology shows that conversational recall, the simple act of remembering and validating past details, is one of the strongest predictors of perceived intimacy. When you anchor the present moment to a shared past, her brain registers, "This person values what I have to say. This interaction isn't just about him trying to close me." That thought doesn't stay in the moment. It becomes a permanent fixture. It follows her home. It's the reason she smiles when she is brushing her teeth later, and why your name pops into her mind for no obvious reason when she is scrolling through her phone. Step 3 is the strategic exit, and this is the absolute crucial step that separates memorable men from forgettable ones. After you've delivered the micro compliment and the callback anchor, you need to either leave the situation gracefully or, at the very least, redirect your focus away from her completely. This seems totally insane and counterintuitive. You have this beautiful, high-energy interaction. She is laughing, she is smiling, she is leaning towards you, and I am telling you that this is the exact moment you pull back? Yes, absolutely yes. Every master of narrative structure knows that the climax is only powerful because it has to end. This is the psychology of scarcity, identified by persuasion researchers worldwide. When we perceive something as abundant, we are biologically driven to devalue it, but when we perceive something as limited or rare, we obsess over it. By gracefully and confidently ending the interaction while it is still on a high note, you are creating massive emotional scarcity. She wanted more. She was left wanting more. She did not get it. Now her mind has to fill in the vacuum by thinking about you to satisfy that sudden craving. You are not playing games or withholding yourself to be manipulative. You are understanding the natural emotional rhythm of a connection. Every great story, every epic scene, every beautiful piece of music knows when to pause. You are simply giving the moment you just created room to breathe so it can grow and deepen in her memory, because a moment that ends just a bit too soon is always infinitely more powerful than one that drags on for far too long until the energy has naturally faded away. The follow-up is where most men take a masterclass performance and completely undo everything they just built. Here is the non-negotiable rule. You wait. After you have nailed the 60-second formula, do not, under any circumstances, text her the moment you walk away. I know the temptation is agonizing. I know you get into your car and the dopamine is so high that you want to send that "it was so good seeing you" text. If you do that too quickly, you communicate something you do not want to convey. You communicate that you have nothing else in your life going on, that your entire emotional baseline is completely dependent on her. Instead, wait at least 3 hours. Give the Zygarnic Effect time to work its magic. When you do reach out, do not send some generic open-ended message. Reference the callback anchor again. Something like, "I actually looked up that restaurant we were talking about. It's supposed to be legendary. We might need to test that theory." Notice the precision here. You are referencing your shared history, you are showing initiative, and you are subtly inviting her into a shared future without being demanding or pushy. That text message is a masterpiece. Statistics from modern dating platforms actually confirm that messages referencing specific shared experiences or details get exponentially more engagement than generic openers. It's the difference between a real connection and noise. I would be doing you a profound disservice if I didn't add that everything I have shared so far, every technique and every formula, will fail if your core energy is wrong. Women are experts at reading energetic subtitles. We don't just respond to what you do, we respond to who you are while you are doing it. The single most compelling magnetic quality a man can carry into any interaction, hugs included, is a calm, centered self-assurance that does not require anyone's permission or validation. When a man hugs a woman and then immediately searches her face for approval, trying to gauge if it was too long or if he should have said something different, she feels that nervousness. She feels that insecurity. It's like a quiet vibration that makes her think, "This is not someone I am safe with." Behavioral science confirms that insecurity is consistently the single greatest killer of attraction for women evaluating potential romantic partners. When a man can embrace her, hold her gaze with authentic, warm confidence, speak from a place of grounded presence, and then walk away with the absolute certainty that he knows his own value, that is the man she cannot stop thinking about. That is the man who stays. Yes, use these protocols, but simultaneously work on becoming the type of man who doesn't need protocols, the type of man whose natural presence is so comforting and intriguing that every interaction with him feels effortless. That hug she just gave you was never just a hug, it was a portal. Hold the eye contact. Give the specific compliment. Use the callback anchor. Walk away when it is glowing. Let the silence do the work. Let the anticipation grow. Let her complete the narrative on her own, because when you master this level of precision, you will find that you no longer have to chase. You are now the one whose mind she cannot leave. Now, pay attention, because everything I have told you is only for when she hugs you. But what if you're missing the signs that she has already fallen for you completely? A woman in love cannot hide these signals, yet most men are blind to them. I break down the 5 most obvious but universally overlooked signs right here. The third sign on that list will shock you.